guys, thanks for being here with me. My name is Jill. If you don't know me, I'm the homeschool mom to a fourth grader. I think this is going to be part 3 of a mini series that I'm doing of going from fourth grade, transitioning into fifth grade, and then what fifth grade is like. And it kind of kicked off because of my 2024-2025 curriculum picks video. One of you recently asked, hey, would you mind divulging how much all of this stuff costs you? And I thought, that's a really good idea. I mean, we don't always talk about money. We do talk about budget, but why not discuss how much all of this stuff costs? So my immediate answer to her was, it's more expensive than public school and it's far cheaper than a semester at Hogwarts. So we are all somewhere in between there. As some of videos you'll find are, how to homeschool for free. I don't know how to do that. I can't homeschool for free. And then others spend tons and tons and tons of money. In fact, I think you could spend anywhere from maybe $500 to $1,000 a year, upwards of tens of thousands of dollars a year based on what you want to do. And I would also say that my homeschool, I think, is expensive because when you start adding in specialty topics, like French, for instance, is clearly a specialty topic or specialty subject in the fourth grade, it costs more. It just does. In order to kind of get everything that you need for that, there's no real one-stop shop. And also there aren't a lot of people who want to do the same thing, which then drives down the cost of that subject. So mine are higher in that regard. And I would venture to say that there are many homeschoolers out there who are in the same boat. Like there's some people who homeschool because their children are in near professional sports, and that's got to be incredibly expensive. So I don't really think that that's what we're talking about here, but I'm going to divulge the whole works of everything, not fourth grade, because I just didn't do the math on that. And I think it's more important to show you the fifth grade because I just came out with the curriculum picks video for this coming fifth grade year. I'm going to break it down by subject, not by book. And also consider, when you have more children, a lot of this stuff, I think your first kid is astronomically expensive because you're buying for him or her, right? And then the other ones kind of trickle on after that, and you can reuse so much stuff. And also family subjects, or like the history of the story of the world, or the good and the beautiful, science, all of this stuff. There's tons of family subjects where you can gather a whole host of kids of all different ages together. I mean, you know this, all this stuff. That drives down the overall cost over time. Maybe you spend more because you have more kids, but per kid is probably a lot lower than my kid, because no matter what, she's the oldest and the youngest and the only, and so I'm only purchasing for her, and it's pretty much new every time. So let's start. I'm going to start with science. And I have the good and the beautiful. So I've got chemistry and marine biology and machines, motion and simple machines. And the 3 of those things cost $128. I think at the end I can add in, there's tax and there's shipping and stuff, or, we could probably all do the math on that ourselves. But that's the fee well, actually that does count tax. So it doesn't count the shipping. Math UC. I bought Epsilon. I'm going to probably buy Zeta later in the year. So I'm adding both of those in, although I don't have Zeta for Math UC yet. And both of those cost $210. Then I have The Story of the World, Volume 2. I've got the activity book, the test book, the narration book. I call it the narration book. It's called something else, but I can put it up on the screen. I think I showed it to you before. And Win Capit's geography coloring book. I bought that last year. It was $20. And we're going to have that for years and years and years. So some of the stuff we can reuse again. So our world history is $155 for the fifth grade. Our world religion, $20. History encyclopedia is $15, so I guess I should lump that in $70. So $170 for history. Then I have French. I'm going to move on from French. It's a big one. I'll talk about that at the end. And then I can go into greater detail for you French and linguist mamas who are really interested in the details of all of that and the whole why and everything. I'm going to do some problem-based learning units next year, and there's there's 2 that I talked about. There's the one that I purchased for a pop-up bakery or a pop-up food truck that I redid for a pop-up bakery for Morgan. And I'm going to do another couple that I have purchased. And then World Schooling, there's going to be a World School problem-based learning, and that's not going to cost anything. I'm doing that myself. So for 4 problem-based learning units, the total cost is, it's $100. Now, also, we're going to do World Schooling next year, and that's a cost. I mean, we're not doing it for any other reason other than school. So if we weren't doing homeschool, we wouldn't be doing World Schooling. I don't have a cost for that for the 5th grade yet, but if you are interested in that, for anybody who wants to do World Schooling or just is curious, I'm happy to do a future video on that. Health. For the Mark Twain book and the sexual education books will be $90. And our PE is inexpensive. We do a ton of it on our own, but we have a gym membership, and then we go swimming every week. We just pay to go to the pool, the indoor pool. The swimming itself is $360 a year, and we just love doing that on a Friday, and I think it's worth it. Now let's see. We have financial and cyber health, and that's free. I'm doing all of that with documentary videos and library books. Then we have spelling is $20. Grammar is $115. Vocabulary is $35. Our creative writing program is $150, and our literature is $1,000. So let's talk about French. I have decided to go with the 2 different programs, professional programs, and one is the Well-Trained Mind Academy, and the other one is Alliance Française Private Tutoring. Now, our private tutor is $1,600 for the year, and that's twice a week. It's probably 11 months out of the year. And the Well-Trained Mind Academy French 1B course is $850 for 2 semesters. It was a $100 registration fee, and how much was it for the books? $120 for the textbook, the workbook, and a literature book that they're going to read, the Le Petit Prince they're going to read. So what's the total of that? Over $1,000. It's $1,000 for the academy. It's $1,600 for private tutoring. Then you've got the books and some of the kind of the other textbooks and reading books and stuff, the readers that I buy for Morgan. Our French is about $3,000. That's kind of a lot. In fact, there a lot of us, if we weren't doing that and then we didn't spend $1,000 on literature, but we want to build our library, so we don't want to give books back, especially since I like to write in them. So we're also developing and building our library. We're buying the literature because we want to keep it here. But if we weren't doing French, and if we weren't buying our literature, our cost of homeschool would be $3,000-ish a year. Is that a lot? I don't know. So everybody's got a different perspective. Naturally, for one, we might live in different areas. For us, our library is a 72-mile round trip drive. So we can't just jump in the car and go grab a book that we mean to use for the afternoon. The round trip alone in gas, if we did that 2 or 3 times a week, it's cheaper to end up just buying the book. And a lot of the time, we like our library. It's a good, robust library. It's a small library in a small city. And so a lot of the time, I say a lot, maybe 50% of the time, but that's kind of a lot when you're looking for a book. When we go in there, it's not available. It's not readily available. We have to go get it from or order it from the interlibrary system. So we got to wait, upwards of a week for those books. Given the distance to the library, and having to wait for the library books if they're real specific, if I don't plan really far ahead, which is hard to do sometimes, right? We've just chosen to purchase the books. So that's the breakdown. And I hope that helps you, or you guys were curious, and I encourage you to, do better. So if you watch this video and you go, oh no, you totally spent way too much money, do it cheaper if you can. Do it better if you can. This is just our way. Our way is our right way. It's not your right way. But I would be really curious to know what you guys are doing, and if you wish to share how much you're spending, or how much, what's your specialty thing that you're not willing to spend less on. Put it in the comments, because other moms would be, I know, like me, would be really curious to know what we're all doing. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.